I'm Kristie. I'm Kristie, and I love surprises. I have always loved surprises ever since I was little. And I know that's not the most popular opinion. Like, how many times have you heard someone say, I hate surprises. Do not surprise me. Please don't surprise me for my birthday. I hate surprises. We've totally heard that. And I think when people say that, what they're actually saying is, please don't surprise me with something unexpected that I don't actually want. Which is perfectly relatable. Nobody wants that. And I'm here to tell you that surprises, when done well, are one of the easiest ways to bring joy into our everyday lives. Because not everyone loves surprise parties, but little surprises are for everyone. So this is what it looks like when someone is delightfully surprised, right? This is my friend Kate when I told her the news that I got engaged this past August. And this is a picture of my little sister when we surprised her with the news that we got Taylor Swift tickets to the Eras Tour. I know, because finding your soulmate is actually just as difficult as finding Taylor Swift tickets. but honestly, all jokes aside, it's these kinds of little surprises that bring true human connection. So it's not just the confetti and the balloons and the streamers and the things that you think about when you think about the word surprise. It's the little unexpected delights that can have a huge impact. So this is my invitation to you to interrupt the ordinary by bringing joy into an unexpected context. For example, if you have a work presentation coming up, or a talk, maybe a business meeting, and they tell you that you should wear business casual, I don't know, maybe a TED Talk. Maybe you do something a little more surprising, like bejeweled business casual. Sorry, my TED Talk's actually a fashion show. Perfect, thank you very much. But seriously, just make these surprises authentic to you, you know? And sparkles are definitely authentic to me. So authors Chip and Dan Heath, in their book, The Power of Moments, they call this breaking the script. And what that means is to really just defy people's expectations of how they think an experience will unfold. And that's how we can make moments with extraordinary impact. In other words, it's called strategic surprise, because surprise is actually a strategy. It's a strategy you can use in marketing. It's one that I learned when I was working at Apple, for sure. But I would argue it's one you can use in all aspects of your life. So, surprise and delight. This is the result we're looking for. This is the kind of surprise we love. But there's another side of surprise. It's that side of surprise that I like to call surprise and fright. And that's like the fight or flight response surprise, like the jump scare, the boo, like that kind of surprise. And that's not what we want to aim for. So, are you guys down to play a little game? Okay, great. We're going to play a little game of fright or delight. But first, I need some sound effects. So, can somebody give me a sound you would make that is not a swear word for when you're actually frightened, like genuinely frightened? I love just the shrill. What do you think? Let's go with the like that. Okay, so on the count of three, we're all going to do it. When I point at you, we're all going to say on the count of three. 1, 2, 3. Ah! Okay, perfect. Wow, that was really good. We're vibing. Okay, and then we're going to need a sound effect for delight. So a sound that you would make that is also not a swear word when you are genuinely delighted. Wow. Ooh, wow. These are really good. Okay, I heard yay too. That's pretty good. I think we should go with ooh. But you got to do the multiple tone ooh, okay? So on the count of three, let's all do it together. 1, 2, 3. Ooh. Yes. Ah, so good. Okay. Perfect. So I'm going to show you a series of images, and then you make the sound effect, whether it's frightful or delightful to you, if you were to have this experience. So we'll start with something easy. Fireworks. Agreed. Ooh, yes. Definitely delight. Super delightful. Okay. Shooting star. Ooh. Yeah, nature has some of the best, most unexpected, beautiful surprises. Oh, how delightful is it just to see a shooting star in the middle of it's like you have to make a wish. We make moments out of that. Okay. What about coming across a snake? Not a single ooh in the house. Okay. Yeah, all right, I'm with you. I'm with you. Snakes are not my thing. And what about, I'm sorry for this one, ventriloquist dummies? It's, yeah, it's pretty terrible. I'm sorry. It's terrible. Frightening. Like, I'm just going to move off this slide immediately. Okay, what about skydiving? Okay, yeah. See, we have a mix. I'm in the no way camp, but I completely understand both perspectives. And last but not least, upside down roller coasters. Okay. Be honest. Yeah, definitely a mix there because honestly, surprise is subjective. Like whether or not a surprise is frightful or delightful depends on the person. Like some of us are going to be like, "Woo, this ride is awesome. I can't wait to do this again." And then some of us are just like actually pooping our pants. Like yeah. So it really depends on the person. And that means when we design surprises, we have to start with empathy. And that means actually actively listening to people, what they actually want, and not just doing things for people that we think that they'll like. In case you're wondering where I stand on the roller coasters thing. Definitely a terrifying experience to me. Do not invite me on upside down roller coasters. Okay, thank you. So if surprises start with empathy, it sounds easy enough, right? Like most of us consider ourselves to be empathetic people. We say we're good friends, we're good listeners, but then why don't we design surprises for people more often? I would argue that it's because designing surprises for others, even if it's someone we really love and we're really close to, is actually extremely vulnerable. You have to take a risk. Like, when you're designing a surprise, there's a chance this thing might fall flat. You have to put yourself out there. You have to, if you just planned the thing and you knew 100% that this thing would land, it really wouldn't be a surprise. But I'm here to say that this is a risk worth taking. A risk that I took not too long ago was this past Halloween. I got invited to a hell-themed Halloween party in Salem, Massachusetts, which is the coolest place, objectively, to have a Halloween party. This was the invite, very cool. The gates of hell literally opened into the invitation. Our friend clearly went to art school and is so extra, and it was so awesome. But all that was expected of me was to show up to the party dressed as someone you would see in hell. Not that hard. People had fun with it. People came as Disney villains. People dressed as the devil, things like that. So naturally, I went as a middle school photo day photographer. Okay, thank you for understanding, because some people really did not get it. And I think that, like, those people clearly don't remember this. Was like 90% of middle school. It's extremely awkward. Yeah. So I went around the party with my Polaroid camera, just like black pants, white top, and I genuinely took pictures of people like it was photo day. One chance to make a cute pose. And this is the Polaroid of me and said fiancé Nathan at the party. But instead of handing people the photo as soon as I took it, I said, oh, no, you have to wait until they come back from the studio, like actual photo day. And so I kept all the photos, and I put them into little envelopes, and I put everybody's first and last name on them. And eventually, later on at the party, I said, okay, the prints are back from the studio. And I handed everybody their envelopes, and everyone was really excited, because who doesn't love a vintage Polaroid photo? It's very fun. Like, that's delightful in itself. But I went one step further. And I actually included real wallet-sized photos of people's middle school photos. There's me and Nathan, 6th grade. And people lost their minds. People were screaming. And so it was like a mix of fright, but definitely delight, Like, who does that? Who shows up to a Halloween party with, like, the jump scare of your middle school yearbook moments? But it also showed this, like, huge amount of effort and thought that went into people who I wasn't even best friends with. And it's those kinds of things that have a huge impact. It's where they're least expected. So where surprises are least expected, that's where they have the power to be the most impactful and the most appreciated. So one place you will definitely not usually find surprises or joy is funerals. I know that's not maybe you were expecting the direction I was expecting to go, but I would love to tell you actually about my grandpa's funeral a couple years ago. My grandpa passed away. He was the last of his generation, It was a really big deal for our family. So my mom's side of the family, it's a huge family. She has 65 first cousins. Do you hear that, Mom? The gasp. And huge Italian family. They're also Catholic. So traditionally, at a funeral, they do a Catholic wake with an open casket. And I don't know if you've ever had that experience before, but you can imagine walking into that funeral home, kind of a bleak scene. It's like blank walls, kind of a drab carpet, just a bunch of chairs. And how many events in our lives are usually just blank walls, drab carpet, and a bunch of chairs? And it's expected to be something special. And this needed to be a special day. Of course, we were going to mourn and grieve the loss of this amazing patriarch in our family. But we also wanted to celebrate his 96 years of life. So imagine you're walking into this funeral home, knowing it's probably going to be sad, kind of a depressing scene, and you see a stack of, what you assume to be prayer cards or like an obituary, like, I don't know, this. And you pick it up, and you see it's actually not an obituary, but instead it's a list of 100 Grandpa's life advice. 100 things that Grandpa said that my uncle had compiled over decades of things that Grandpa used to say. And all of a sudden, it was like his voice was there in the room, like you could hear him, and he was still there. And what more comfort can you ask for when you're going to pay your respects to the life of this really important person? So you could hear Grandpa saying things like, "It doesn't cost anything to smile and say good morning." But also, it always takes at least 2 coats to paint a wall no matter what the paint company says. And of course, if you knew my grandpa, there's always room for peaches. He loved peaches, especially with ice cream. And we did other little things, like we had a slideshow. These are my grandparents on their wedding day, looking like straight studs in 1945. We had Sinatra music playing, his favorite music. We even had matching tattoos for everybody that said, "Love you, Dolly," which is what he used to say to all of us. But honestly, how could you not do something special for a guy like this? Look how happy his ice cream made him. And so it's moments like this that could have been the run-of-the-mill, ordinary family traditional wake. But instead, we took that opportunity not to necessarily bring joy into the moment, but to build community. And that day, our family truly felt like a community, and we really felt like a family. So it's not just these big events, these big traditions that are opportunities for little surprises, little things. Small surprises do a lot to break the monotony of our everyday lives, our everyday routines. So little examples of this are like bringing balloons to the last day of class, which I love to do for my design thinking class here at BC, or even just sending a food delivery to a friend when they get the flu, or bringing in a musical instrument to a work presentation, which I have definitely been known to do, or for your next movie night. Instead of just sitting down and streaming something, actually get out the popcorn, get out the snacks, the candy, maybe even play that intro video that they do at the theater where they're like, "Silence your cell phones," threateningly. It actually adds such an element of surprise and delight into what would otherwise be just a regular night at home. And last but not least, of course, the ever-powerful Post-it note. This is one that I left for my old roommate. "Good morning, I believe in you, you're doing great, nice butt." And who wouldn't want to see that on a Monday morning? Something so small can turn around someone's whole day or maybe even their whole week. And this is the Post-it that I fall asleep to every night, or right after I brush my teeth. I always see it. Nathan wrote it for me 4 years ago, and it's still there. It says, "You are the best person to end the day with." And even when a surprise isn't a surprise anymore, it has the power to bring delight and gratitude in these little things. Surprises have really long-lasting effects. It's not just in the moment. So I invite you all to start here by leaving a Post-it note for someone that you care about in an unexpected, surprising place in the next 24 hours. And I have given you rainbow Post-its on the way out. You will see you can take one. Do you promise you're going to do it? Yeah. Okay, great. So of course, before I wrap things up, I have a surprise for you. All of my friends who are at the end of a row, every other row, there's a surprise envelope taped to the side of your chair. And inside the envelope, you'll find a copy of Grandpa's life advice for all of you to take home and read and enjoy. It's a little surprise. And just pass them out. There's definitely enough for everyone. It's a little surprise from my family to yours. I hope you enjoy it. Now go forth and spread surprise and light of your own.